Having accepted their fate, there was no turning back for Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed, stepping into the light. 4 roots, 1 tree, the Schism's tree.
Now we're going to be doing the multicam promo shoot. I know you're familiar with those. We're just going to wait for this rain to lighten up a little bit.
We don't need to wait for the rain, okay? We're doing this now. No multicam, just one camera. No spooky lights, no special effects. I won't even need a contact lens, okay? No overproduction. We're done.
No overproduction. I mean, like, come on. Where does that get you?
Nowhere. We're filming it now.
No, seriously, where does that get you?
Nowhere.
You've got soulless wrestlers with heartless gimmicks. And then you've got the death of creativity. We took a long look around and we said to ourselves, if this is the big life, then we're not looking to live it. We are sick of taking the safe option. We are sick of reading the same old boring scripts that go absolutely nowhere. And we are sick with dealing with knobheads that have wormed their way into this business.
A very famous British wrestler told us when we arrived in the States that it was time for us to put our head down and start listening to orders if we wanted to succeed. He said that he wanted us to have all the fun out of our system because there's no pirates here. Well, I am sorry for anyone that had different expectations for us. I am sorry that we can't be who you wanted us to be. Simply put, we are not politicians. It's a pirate's life for us. I am Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson. This man is James Drake. Together, we are grizzled young veterans that felt good to say again. We have conquered all of Europe and we're never gonna stop. The boys are back. Yes. And if you see the GYV coming, grit your teeth. Yes! We made your job a little easy for you, lad. Nice and easy on the editing. One take. Oh, that felt good. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Go. Oh!
First 6 months of Schism, when we were wearing the white and Jack was wearing the black, and we were very much just kind of, I don't know, it's you know, I'm not saying something's better or for worse, but if you watch it, the character development was very hollow. It felt like it was just kind of like, you're now in white and you're in black, but don't ask why. So if we asked, like, can we thicken this out or how do you want this? They most of the time, they wouldn't know the answer. So it just kind of felt like a means to an end, as in like, here's the names, like, here's this, like, just try and make it work. And that's kind of how it felt, you know, and especially at the time they went through a weird portion of 2.0, and I personally think it's quite dated, where they came back to like the 80s characters, where it felt like, you know, you aren't a wrestler who, you know, so happens to, you know, be in a cult. It's you are a cult and you just like doing wrestling on the side. It felt like everyone was these over the top characters, but then you watch the main roster and you look at people like, you know, Judgment Day, who weren't these over the top, you know, caricatures. They were like these thickened out characters. Like, if you asked me, like, what is a Damian Priest? It's you can't say he's a milkman or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, Damian Priest is a thickened out character. But then if you look on the NXT portion of things, because obviously everything progresses. If you asked us what's a Rip Fowler or what's a Jagger Reed, like, if you asked us as well, we would go, I don't know. You know?
Fair.
Yeah.
Again, just at the time that was introduced, we spoke earlier about how there was so many changes happening behind the scene. Almost every couple of weeks there was something new or some new directive. That kind of happened along with the Schism stuff coming in, because the initial pitch was not how it played out either. So I think even it was just changing every other week. We got a pitch, we were like, okay, this is different and we're not doing anything, let's go for it. And then a couple of weeks later, the pitch has completely changed, but we're already in it. So now we're stood there dressed in fucking velvet robes, sweating our balls off in Florida, going, what the fuck is this? This is what we agreed to. And then a couple of weeks later, we're doing something else wild. And then before you know it, You stood there dressed in black and white with no fucking clue what we're doing.
The original idea was almost like a House of a Thousand Corpses type family group, with like a culty edge. But then things didn't, I guess, work out exactly. And then 2.0 started. So I think that maybe changed some of the ideas.
Again.
So when 2.0 happened, I feel like some of that idea maybe kind of went out the window, because it was like an overhaul, repackaging of the brand itself. So so she kind of like, I guess the idea of her and me joining together was kind of put on the back burner. And then when it was just me, Rip, and Jagger, she actually came up to me at the PC one day and said, so did you hear what's going to happen? And I said, no. She was like, so I'm going to join you guys. And I said, that's awesome, because originally it was going to be me and her trying to do something anyway. So I'm glad it finally panned out on TV. At the time, I was doing a thing with the guy that was there named Harlan. And we thought, like when I found out, we thought they were going to join and it was going to be us four. And then, you know, we talked and figured out what was going to happen. And then we found out that it was just going to be the three of us. So then we went on with us three. And then they had to debut under Druid outfits. And they had to actually wrestle in the Druid outfits, which was not fun for them. I'll say they were not having a good time wearing those outfits wrestling. These buildings, some of them are not air conditioned. So we're doing like 15-minute, 20-minute 6-man tag matches where they're just in there sweating to death, like in these outfits. And every time I went to the corner and had to tag one in, I was like, you okay? You okay? All right. Just making sure they're all right. But now, I mean, once they joined, you know, I think we started really kind of hitting the ground running as much as we could.
Look, the only thing, the bottom line is they decided to unleash the fourth Schism member that has been walking around with them now. And it happened to be when they pulled off the hood, Simone Johnson, Pebbles herself, The Rock's daughter, with red eyes in, and she cut a very short promo saying that, you know, the Schism has welcomed her in. They believe in who she can be, not who she should be, and that their voyage is just beginning. So that's what that was. If you want to put her in a team where she's got the ability to learn and, you know, knock some things around and try, you know, I guess this is the way to do it. They were going to change her name anyway, so I guess why not?
Why is there so much effort spent on that, but not here?
Yes.
Here.
Absolutely.
This is the ones that know what they're doing. This is the ones that's like groomed for this. Yep. But you're spending effort on that hasn't figured it out, hasn't groomed and like
tell me about that.
That's what I was like, like
there is
there
is a few people that I ended up wrestling on like Level Up or whatever, and it was pretty much because they just didn't know how to wrestle. And at the time, a certain someone was running wild around NXT, and like firing everyone and all that, and he really liked someone who isn't even there now. You know, he's not even there anymore, but he really liked the look of them. And he wanted to see him on Level Up that night. The fella didn't know, and bless him, and it's not against him because he's just so new, and he was such a cool guy. Mm-hmm. And I think he's still wrestling, and if he is, I hope he just cracks on and he ends up going back there and he makes a lot of money.
It's never personal.
It's just never personal.
It's like professional, yeah.
But like the fella didn't know the basic structure of a match. He didn't know what a back suplex was, and I'm wrestling him that night on Level Up, and they put me with him because I know I can guide people through matches. So I get them ready and whatever else, and we do the match in the night, right? The match is fine. If you watch him, you know he's doesn't know what's next. You know what I mean? But as long as he's coming to me, I'm picking him back where he left off. And I remember like coming backstage and they were all around him, giving him like, oh, you could do this or maybe do that. Not negative, but they were like really enthusiastically like putting effort, like you were saying before, like all this attention and effort and time into him. And I'm just getting my tape off and they turn around and I lock eyes with the fella, I just don't really want to say his name anymore. Like he's been shunned, he's been fired, like whatever, all this right? And he turns around and he goes like, hell of a hand, kid. And I'm like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like I've spent at that time, I've spent 16 years of my life, moved across the world, closed the business, said goodbye to my mom and dad, say goodbye to my brother, family, friends, everything like that for that. Do you know what I mean? That
Yes.
By the way, that was my...
That was the moment.
That was me going, I'm done.
It's time to go.
Like, hey, out here.
You know what I mean? Right.
Back it up.
That was
I get it.
That was when I was like, no, it's just business, but like you clearly don't see whatever.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
I can't grow any taller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a 5'10" guy for life.
Yeah.
So I can't get taller, and I can't get 10 years younger.
Yeah,
But
and if they're the only criteria you're basing business on, then I'm in the wrong place.
So this is one of the only times I've really like put my foot down on a lot of things for the best. I think personally, I still do think it was for the best. When we were told Simone was going to be involved with us, we were still wearing black and white, and it was very hollow, the development of characters. I remember we were speaking, we were all speaking all the Schism, as with Simone, getting ready for it. And we all just knew, like, there wasn't really, like, as what Jack said then, like, there was so much, change that no one really knew what was going on. But it was like the train's going, do you know what I mean? But we just don't know where the destination is. So there was so much change, and we had to just tell them, like, this is kind of what we see, where it's going to be a big thing when, Ava makes her debut on TV. How about we try and make this, group cool? Like, because right now it reeks of uncool. Like, there's nothing about it I know I'm saying everyone has to be cool, but like everyone's a product. But you have best intentions for, like, if someone's going to debut, they want to be part of something that's already got some, development. And then we came together and we developed the tree roots. We developed the masks with, writing on them. And like, instead of us wearing black and white, we were all wearing like grungy sort of clothes. And it was really like, that was the landing point. As soon as Simone or Ava, was like debuting, that was our big shift into developing a better Schism, essentially. Because it could go one way or the other. It could be like, Simone is Ava, Ava's Simone. I never refer to her as the Rock's daughter. She is her own person.
Sure.
But when she makes her debut on TV, there's going to be loads of news articles saying Rock's daughter debuts. But imagine, and this is what I said to, the office at the time, I said, imagine Rock's daughter debuts, and then me and, Zach are wearing black and white, and it's just very, like, weird, but it doesn't look cool. But I said to them, you can ride that momentum if everyone looks cool. So people who are seeing these headlines who aren't even in wrestling, they see this thing. They see, like, Rock's daughter debuts, and then we've all got these like purge masks on, and we all look kind of maniacal, and and it's now you've got a bit of a hook where it could be one way or the other. It could be, oh my God, she's doing this, or it could be, oh my God, she's doing this. Like, it could be good or bad, and it's depending on how we all look and how we all, present ourselves. And as soon as I said that, they were completely fine. The office like understood it and said, yep, let's do this.
I've been telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes?
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
Threaten them. I'll threaten them
Yeah,
for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it or you're cursed.
We saw all of these little things which we don't have to go into detail about, but we saw where our personal stock was. We saw what the trajectory of our careers were. Should we stay? And we thought it got to this question of, do we stay here, scratch and claw and try and break through this barrier, try and climb out of this rut, knowing that it's not promised that we can get through this, knowing that there's so much red tape at the WWE to cut. Like, do we stay here and struggle, or do we just sidestep, go and have fun, get back to what we enjoy doing? And then if we end up circling back, amazing, we did it. And if we don't, if we find something else that we like just as much, then let's just stay there. Like,
I was always told, like, if you're a real star, you truly believe in like who you are, your confidence and your belief in your product, your abilities, whatever. Real stars are not afraid to lose their jobs or walk away.
Of course,
100%.
The time for being humble isn't really now.
It is
as a tag team, we look and we're like,
being too humble don't get you paid now.
Exactly. Like,
sure.
Where's that fine line for you? Do you see like humbleness or too much humility, where you're just too easy going and like a vulnerable, or and especially like ego
Too much humility
yeah.
gets you wearing a contact lens for 6 months.
Too much humility gets Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed. Like, there's no red tape for us now. Like, if we have an idea, and like if it's a promo or if it's like
which I love the style of promos y'all been doing.
Yeah, the
on
promos?
social media. I've been
So that was one of the things was like we were getting ready to leave, and obviously when you leave, you do the post promo. You know what I mean? Like get out of jail or whatever. And you know, each to their own. Like there was just a lot of like heavy edited promos where people actually weren't doing promos. They were just doing like cinematic things, and they're great. For what they are, they're great. But I don't think it put over the person. I think it just put over the quality of the editor.
Work. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This is great. Who's the guy doing this?
Exactly. Yeah,
not that everyone does, but people can hide behind that.
Exactly,
we wanted to show like pull that back and be like, well, we can't hide. So
we did
this is one take.
Like
we can't
one
hide.
take, walk and talk, no cuts. Let's go.
Which is why that's what I caught too. I was like, oh man, these guys are boom here in it, and they're relying on the talent to show to shine through the screen.
Yeah,
but you're right though.
It's one of them, and then again, like you start like cornering your own like style, and all of a sudden, when we're doing these promos, we just need to have a professional, videographer. Like we have a guy, Harry, he's awesome, but we tell him, and he's so easy with it. With like no editing, just get like good lighting, for us. We walk and talk. That's it, and it's just simple as that for him. But that we're now making that our thing, where it's not getting spliced up and it's not getting like. Whatever. It's just us delivering a promo, but like we're walking the fine line sometimes. Some of the lines we say are like, "Oh, I don't know if you should say that," but you know what I mean. But that's what you want, though.
Well, who's censoring you? Nobody.
No one. Yeah, for sure.
And also, just to add to that, actually, we are grizzled young veterans. What comes with that is a chip on the shoulder. It is bitterness. And like when we first got out, one thing that we definitely didn't want to do, we wanted to get back to the GYV and do that thing that people, and it's not just us, like our entire socials, that's what we were getting the whole time that we were doing the Schism stuff. We were getting bombarded. No one wanted us to do that. All of the fans who liked us wanted us to be the GYV. We just get it every single day without fail. When are you going to do this again? When are you going to do that? But we didn't want to go back to what we were doing because we didn't want to take a step back.
Push it forward?
So we went back to the names and back to the gimmick and back to the style that we like, but we have still tried to push it into a different direction. Even as simple as like the catchphrases have evolved, but we've let them evolve organically. We didn't try to push a catchphrase down anyone's throat. We just said things and then we would listen, and if people picked up on one thing and liked it, we'd lean into that a little bit more. And that's the beauty of not having that red tape to cut. A lot of these guys that write their little reviews, and fair play, you can do whatever you want to do, but I know too many of them have wrote that review, even if it's just in the back of the head subconsciously. They've already wrote the review before they've watched the fucking match. Because they're basing their reviews on what they deem to be these box ticking lists.
Talking about that.
So, and it's almost like that's the cool thing to agree with online. So they will watch some technical match, and if we watch them, they're watching the match, we'll all sit and we'll watch them on the front row. They're sat on their hands, not reacting, but taking the notes. And then they go 5 stars. That was my favorite. And I'm like, motherfucker, I watched you on the night lose your shit when someone went through a table in the garbage match that you gave 1 star. Just stop lying to yourself and to everyone else.
Please clip this, brother.
I watched you.
Admit that you just like chaos like the rest of us.
After the Young Bucks retained the All Elite Wrestling World Tag Team Championship against FTR and The Acclaimed at All In 2024, the Grizzled Young Veterans stepped into the ring and locked in on FTR and would proceed to put the AEW Tag Team division on notice. Grit your teeth.